Just when you think South African politics can't get more ridiculous, someone pulls out a plastic bag full of cash and tries to bribe a journalist in broad daylight in 2025. Not in a dark alley, not in some movie-style handoff, right there, in person, in a restaurant, in front of witnesses. No shame. Welcome to News and Politics. I'm Nikki Wenimo, and today we're unpacking a real story that honestly feels like satire. This is about the IDT bribery scandal, and it's got everything, including suspended CEOs, dodgy tenders, a journalist with receipts, and an envelope of money that ended up causing more damage than silence ever could. Let's get to it.
So I just want to close this chapter.
Yeah, no, sure.
And I think I will need you to close this chapter.
Yeah, no, sure.
It's too much.
Yes, yeah, no, there's been a lot.
I
Yeah.
have kids, I have parents. My parents are old. They
Mm.
were sick, they couldn't sleep over the last weekend.
Yeah.
The auditing spokesperson pulled out a white Dior shopping bag stuffed with 200 Rand notes and placed it on the table. This while his suspended boss sat looking on. I asked them how much money they bought for me, and they said it was 60,000 Rand. But they also intimated that there would be more money coming my way if I dropped my investigation into Malaka's house.
Okay, let's start from the top. Tebogo Malaka, she's the acting CEO of the Independent Development Trust, or IDT. Now, to be fair, this wasn't her first time in the headlines. She had already been suspended earlier this year over a very suspicious 830 million tender for oxygen plants. So people were already side-eyeing. Then comes Phasha Makgolane, someone connected to her, basically the guy who ends up acting like a middleman in this whole situation. On the other side, an investigative journalist, Pieter-Louis Myburgh. Yes, that Pieter-Louis Myburgh, the one who uncovered gangster state-level corruption and caused sleepless nights for politicians. He was asking questions about the IDT tender mess and some property that Tebogo Malaka has, asking the kind of question that clearly made people uncomfortable. So what do? Instead of answering, they decide, let's offer him money, because apparently that works in their world. So here's what happened. They set up a meeting. Myburgh shows up, and sitting right there in the meeting spot at a restaurant is both Tebogo Malaka and Phasha Makgolane. They don't talk in circles. They don't pretend. Makgolane pulls out a plastic bag with 60,000 Rands in cash and hands it to Louis Myburgh, right in front of Malaka, like it's the most normal thing in the world. And Malaka, she doesn't stop him, she doesn't object, she just sits there and lets it happen. Now imagine that moment. You are a journalist investigating a dodgy tender and also some property, and the people involved offer you literal hush money in a plastic bag. No fancy language, just raw cash. I mean, I've never seen anything wilder than that. And more than anything, it shows how comfortable they were. Comfortable enough to believe this was standard behavior. Now that's what's scary. So of course, the story comes out and it was published, and the screenshots, the video, the recording, everything is there. People are shocked, but also we're South African. We're tired. We've seen worse. Meanwhile, Minister Dean Macpherson doesn't waste time. He opens a criminal record, not just against Makgolane, but against Malaka too. Remember, she was already suspended over the oxygen plant deal. So this just adds fuel to the fire. And then Macpherson drops another bombshell. He says there's evidence of coordinated online attacks, fake Twitter accounts, paid bots being used to discredit journalists and government whistleblowers. So the bribery might have just been the tip of the iceberg. So let's just zoom out for a second. This wasn't some backdoor attempt at a negotiation. This wasn't a mistake or miscommunication. This was calculated, organized, and done with confidence, because some people in positions of power genuinely believe that cash can solve anything, that journalists can be bought, that the public will always forget in a week. And why wouldn't they think that? Because accountability is rare, because consequences are slow, because corruption is normalized, So you get things like this where a development trust created to uplift community turns into a source of dirty deals and bribe attempts. And this is why people lose faith, not just in politicians, but in institutions that are supposed to serve the public. So here we are, another week, another envelope, another attempt to buy silence, and thankfully this time it didn't work. But you know what worries me? How often this happens and we never hear about it. Now I want to hear from you. What do you think should happen to people like Malaka? Will she face consequences, or is this just another story that disappears after the next scandal hits? Let's talk about it, and while you're here, hit the subscribe and turn on that notification bell. I'm Nikki Wenimo, and until next time, stay winning.